Hello, and welcome to 10 Very Big Books, a Malazan read-through podcast. My name is Peter Bond. I've read every book in the main series, however, my co-hosts are reading the series for the first time. With me today is my friend and closest confidant, India Jones.
Hello, hello.
Our producer, AJ Fileri.
Hello.
And he's caught every Pokemon that's ever existed. It's Joshua Dean Baker.
That is explicitly false. I've never beaten a single Pokemon game.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even I've beaten a Pokemon game.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Not even once. I heard good things about the new Pokemon Snap. That's a fact for the gamers out there.
I actually heard bad things about the new Pokemon Snap.
Oh, shit.
Wow,
Yeah.
This episode's getting off to a controversial start.
Oh my god, I was just thinking that.
Can we change the name of the show to 3 Pokemon Masters and 1 Rookie?
I have beaten a Pokemon game, so it doesn't make Josh look like a loser. So
Yeah.
it's fine.
I was too busy, working out and kissing girls.
Sounds like you.
But not with your Raichu.
So today on the show, we're talking about the Bonehunters, chapters 17, 18, 19, and 20. We started book 4, and we're ramping up into the finale. So I think there's a lot to talk about this week, so I think it could be good if we get straight into it.
I think it could be great.
Could be great. We can't make any promises, though. So
Yeah.
set the bar low. Chapter 17. In Malaz City, the priest Banashar speaks with a man he calls Foreigner. We hear about the mood of the Empire. There was a recent purge of Wiccans in the city. Coltane and Bolt are considered traitors. They say Shaik has not died, the rebellion isn't over, and now a plague rules 7 cities. Banashar senses the High Mage Tashrin in Mock's hold, but they cannot contact each other. On a ship, Aldra An recalls the history of the Blue Rose people, and his time as a spy amongst the Eater. Perhaps they have found somebody to kill Brulad. Twilight speaks with Tarlak Veed about Akarium. Tomad Sengar is unimpressed with Akarium, and doesn't believe he will be able to kill the Emperor. Veed and Akarium speak then about killing, vengeance, and ending the Eater Empire. Tomad Sengar considers a test for Akarium. Cotillion travels to the First Throne. First, he speaks with Manala and Ibra Golan. Eater have sieged the throne multiple times, and those defending it have suffered heavy losses. Without Troll, Onrak, and Apt, they may not have survived. Cotillion then speaks to them, first about the Eater and Chaos magic. After, about the Talani Mass, war and assail, and the weakening power of the First Throne. Manala asks Cotillion to take some of the children with him, but he refuses. Onrak says he won't see Cotillion again. Panic then says dragons cast shadows into Cotillion's realm, and the god is shocked. Troll wonders why it is the Eater are so dedicated to controlling the First Throne, and if it has something to do with the crippled god. Shadow Throne appears then and begins to heal them. Samar Dev speaks with Featherwitch about languages. Featherwitch threatens her. Samar says if she is killed, Karsa will kill everyone on the ship. After, Samar speaks with the Taxillion about language, the Tano Spirit Walker, and how the Eater are planning to imminently destroy a Malazan fleet. Banashar speaks with Braventooth and wants to smuggle a message into Tashrin. Together they mourn the soldiers of Yucatan, and a soldier named Temper joins them. Pearl mourns the Sarail and thinks of his life without her. He then speaks with Malik Rel. Malik Rel has been stirring up rumors of him as a hero and sparking some of the purges of the Wiccans. Rel tells Pearl to speak to Corbeau Dawn and learn about his secret service to Lassine. Pearl suspects that Malik Rel will soon threaten the Claws himself. AJ, it's been a whole 17 chapters since the prologue, since we just caught a smidge of the priest Banashar.
Yeah.
And he's back. He's back in a major way. And in these 4 chapters, he kind of comes back a few times, and he's like in Malaz City, and we learn a few different things. But in this introductory phase, we learn a lot, I would say, about the mood of the Empire, what's going on, what's been going on with the Wiccans, what's going on with Lassine, what's going on with Malik Rel, what's going on with Tasha, all this stuff. Well, first off, what's your impression about Banashar as a person? And then what do you think about what's going on in the Empire in Malaz City?
I mean, Banashar is like your classic exiled priest, right? He's just like, I don't know what to do without my god. Let me just drink all day. You know, it's like classic. We all know that story. You know, we've all been there.
We've all been there.
But no, I think he's a really interesting. I thought every time we came back to him was very like cool. Like not much happened, but I thought it was just neat to have this like inside view of the city and the people in it, and how the people in the city are talking about the Empire and like what's happening and stuff. And I thought that stuff was very cool. I think what struck me the most was that the city is basically like culling all the Wiccans in like a really brutal way. Just like
feels bad.
It feels so bad. Well, not but, because they are still dead, but Banashar says something about them trying to get rid of the bodies in the ocean, and that like Mail won't accept them. And so there's just like piles of dead Wiccan bodies on the shores, if I read that right. And just really fucking brutal as hell, in a bad way.
Yeah.
It really, when they were talking about the Wiccan stuff, it really brought me back to chapter 1, or maybe even the prologue of Deadhouse Gates with Felicin and like the weird callings of the rich people. Was that also in Malaz City, or is that a different city?
I think that was in Malaz City.
Yeah, it really made me think of that. This city has, it really seems like it's like, we got problems, let's band up and kill people. Seems to be, and that was for Hood though. There were like priests of Hood at that, not Drek.
That was, there were priests of Hood, but that wasn't, I think, was not necessarily related to the culling of those noble families.
Okay, gotcha.
Inge, what stood out to you when we're kind of getting the tone of the Empire and how the events on 7 cities have filtered back to the Empire itself?
You know, I just find it ironic that these Malazans are going around like, no, we're the best and we're just going to make everything okay now. But in their own cities, they're just randomly killing people all the time. It seems a little shady.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would trust them to run my city.
But it's, like 7 cities is just such a brutal place. I think they need the smart governing laws of the Malazans to come in and show them how to run their cities, It's
almost as if the disconnect between the military complex and actual society is like too large to actually be gapped.
Christ.
Sorry.
That was a lot, bud.
Sorry.
I just feel like we're going somewhere, and I'm not mad at the destination. But
where do you think we're going?
I just think we're going to total frickin' anarchy. Also, when are the Wiccans gonna be like, guys, fuck off? They have been using the Wiccans and like killing the Wiccans and just for so long. I'm just waiting for an uprising.
Well, the thing is, Coltane and Bolt betrayed the Empire, so it's kind of justice when you really think about it.
There was definitely also like it was implied a couple books ago that Coltane is being reborn into somebody. So I imagine probably whenever Coltane's new body shows up is when the Wiccans will rise up.
If there's any fucking Wiccans left.
Literally.
Yeah, Well, we're not on the Wiccan plains.
Well,
It's just
that's true,
Wiccans
too. That's
in
true,
Malaz City.
Right.
I hear Wiccans drink the adrenochrome of babies, so I feel like...
What the fuck does that even... I don't know what dumb shit you just referenced, and I'm glad.
It sounds
What's
like a
adrenochrome?
Scientology thing.
It's
Yeah,
a
I don't know.
QAnon thing. We can move on.
All right.
Oh, god damn it.
So Josh Tashren's back. I can't get a hold of him, though. He's not answering his phone.
I don't miss Tashren at all.
You don't miss him. See ya, I guess.
Nah, he reacted too late in book 3, and since then, fuck him. All my homies hate Tashren.
Cool. Well, listen, we can come back to Banashar and this plotline, because I think he's in the next 2 or 3. There's like 2 or 3 more scenes with him.
He pops up a lot.
Yeah.
And actually, AJ, I wanted to say, I didn't really get the sense that he was in the bars drinking because he was upset about... it didn't seem like he was upset he was banished from his order or anything. I actually said, it seemed like maybe he left it moderately willingly? I don't know. I never got that vibe that he was, like, upset about the situation. He was just kind of, like, didn't know what else to do.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I think I agree with you, where it's just like he needed something else to do, so he's just getting wasted all the time.
Well, I mean, like, look, if I lived in medieval times and I had enough money to not work, I would exclusively get drunk in bars. There's nothing else to do.
I think
there's no PlayStations. There's no Pokemon.
Yeah.
There's like a book every 4 months.
Written by the same guy.
And you can't read, so...
Yeah, so...
Yeah, and I think, too, it's just like... I think he probably left Drek, like, knowing that... I mean, we don't find this out for a little bit, but knowing that the entire group was about to be culled by Drek. Like, if he's a as good a priest as he not seems like, because he's just like drinking in these chapters, but if he was like a good priest, he probably saw this reckoning coming, right? And it's just like, well, I guess it's time to peace out before I get murdered by my god.
Makes sense.
And that kind of puts a pin in that kind of slaughter from the prologue, you know?
Yeah.
Ah,
wait, what?
I forgot that temple, the one that got Hellion sent to the army. I forgot that was a temple of Drek where all those priests were slaughtered. And now it makes sense knowing that it was the literal god himself that did it. We still don't know who that fucking guy was, right? From the prologue, who just kind of popped up, if I remember correctly.
Let's see if I can find his name. But no, I don't think so.
I don't think we do either. Maybe he's the same guy on the ship who was talking with Hellion.
So...
I was thinking maybe it was Foreigner. I don't know.
We cut...
it could be Foreigner. We don't know.
We cut to the Eater fleet, where we touch in with Aldra-on. Bada boom.
Pete, a broad question that popped up while reading these 4 chapters. Is there, and I mean, this is a specific question, is there a time skip between Midnight Tides and this book?
Definitely.
Yeah, what the heck?
Definitely.
There has to, okay, there's like I think they said like in the last 2 years or something, like they had mentioned it's been years since that war happened, which I found interesting.
I don't know how long, but definitely, I mean, you got to think, I mean, of course there's a time skip, right? It's because Troll is found like after being exiled on a long time in like early House
and
of
see,
Chains.
I thought there had been a time skip of like a handful of months, but then there was something in these 4 chapters that made me go, I think it's been several years actually, which I had not expected.
I definitely don't. I couldn't tell you an exact number right now, but it's not a few months.
Well, then what are you doing? Why are you here?
So we touch in with Aldra-on, and we get a little Blue Rose knowledge. Throwback, you know. I'm guessing you guys weren't expecting Aldra-on to show up in this book, but
no.
In this chapter, a lot of Eater stuff kind of emerges back into the scene. Not only with Aldra-on, but also with Twilight. Shout out, what up?
Yeah.
Woo!
Egg on my face for saying Twilight wasn't going to be a character.
Yeah, egg on your face is right.
Did you say that?
Yeah, back when in
the last book.
Yeah, I guess that was just the last book, huh?
Yeah.
And they were getting destroyed by the fucking
So, India, what do you think? Do you think Akarium can kill Rulad? Or do you think he should be tested?
I think it's safe to say that Akarium can kill Rulad. Tomad Sengar is all over the fucking place, I feel. But, you know, if he wants a test, then he'll get.
I gotta say, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be on that boat. That's my take, you know?
Me either. What the hell? They really must be underestimating Akarium. And also with that guy in his ear, like, no, you gotta fucking do it.
Yeah, so
it's for the people.
Yeah.
you can bring peace by the sword. This
And
is
then
my
Akarium's like,
genius plan.
no, I don't want to. It's just going to bring more bad. And he's like, nah, do it.
I don't know why you did that in a whiny voice. I agree with Akarium.
That's because that's how it sounded, because that's how he whined it, essentially. Are we disagreeing? We all know who Akarium is, and he is a strong yet whiny whatever he is.
It's 100% true.
I would say I would say he's a soft side. He's not whining.
Peter, I'm absolutely entitled to my own opinion, and
I don't know.
He's whining.
And in this case, her opinion is correct.
I'm pushing back on your opinion. I'm not attacking you.
I don't feel attacked. I'm just saying there's nothing that's going to change my thoughts about Akarium. Like, there's no doubt Akarium can fuck up a city, a world, whatever, but a little whiny.
Okay, I'm just saying not wanting to kill people doesn't make you a whiner, is my opinion.
You're right, but when you whine about not wanting to kill people, it does make you a whiner.
Son of a bitch.
I think there's like an element.
Because Pete, every day I don't want to kill people, but I'm not over here lamenting like.
Well, you don't have somebody next to you like, Josh, you should kill. Josh, you should kill someone.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd be surprised who I have going on in this mind.
Yeah, have you met my girlfriend? Every day.
Jesus Christ, guys.
Just having a normal one out here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Twilight, Aldraon. Anyone have any takes on these two and their emergences into the plot again?
You act like, I'm sorry, Josh, I just need to, where do I know Aldraon from? Because that was a new name.
If we ever met them,
We did.
I don't remember them. Did we?
Yeah, they were the ones at, oh God, whatever that one siege was. I don't remember what it was in the last book. Where
They had a very small part.
yeah,
in
they
book
talk
5.
about the Blue
Yeah.
Rose clan though being like secret Tistandi.
They're the one that
yeah.
talk about it? Yeah.
Why wouldn't I remember that? I'm such an idiot.
I'm surprised that I did.
I remembered that the Blue Rose were Tisty Andy. I forgot that it was an eater that told us. Although technically they're not an eater.
I have no
Yeah.
idea what Blue Rose is either. What the fuck?
So India Blue Rose were the people that the Letheris, like, they mentioned the Blue Rose. They lived to the east. They were like, they taught us to ride horses with these cool saddles. And then I think it was the guy who can't die. What's his face? The strong boy?
Rulad.
Lad.
No, the guy that took the girl. The guy that took Saren, wanted to take Saren.
The Crimson Guard?
Yeah.
Yeah,
what's his
the
name?
Crimson Guard guy. I think he was like,
Oh.
"Hey, he was like, "Oh, we love these saddles. They're from the Blue Rose." And he was like, "Well, that's fucking funny because that's a Tisty Andy design and it's backwards." And that was our like hint that that's who they were and that they were fucking with people.
Josh, I can't believe you were like, I don't know if you've ever heard this name before, but here's the exact plot points that happened around them.
That's how my brain
Fuck
works.
you guys,
man.
honestly.
I just remember that being really funny, and so it's in my brain forever.
Yeah.
Iron Bars
So-
is his name.
Iron Bars.
Iron bars. I knew I had iron. I just didn't commit to saying it because I was afraid it was wrong.
Hot iron.
I like the Blue Rose. I will say I've always thought their name sounds like a perfume or something, you know?
The Blue Rose.
Blue Rose.
So that's a type of people? Or that
Yeah.
the place is Blue Rose?
Both.
It's a group of Tisty Andy, but they call themselves the Blue Rose.
Because they didn't know they were Tisty Andy.
Did they know they were Tisty Andy?
They did not.
They
It had
didn't
been
for
such
a
a
while.
long time since the betrayal that they have just assumed that they were just a lighter skinned eater or something.
Interesting. Okay.
That's actually funny. I'm not trying to discuss this, but I just want to quickly read the room and also give a quick recommendation. Did anybody watch episode 2 of Rick and Morty?
No.
Give a recommendation. Plug India Rick and Morty King, you know.
I am. And I highly recommend watching it if you like the show. It was the best episode they've ever put out. Ever.
Really?
Ever.
High
ever,
praise.
Ever, ever.
I
Anyway.
don't like it, but HR is obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've just
I
never
really liked it.
into
I only watched I watched the first 3 seasons. I didn't watch
I feel like I watched the first season with Pete in college.
I watched the first
It-
season in college and then I
It
don't know.
Yeah,
got
that
like
was
kind
it.
of like still good, but not great. But this new season is like fucking straight fire.
Man.
But anyway, sorry, I digress. I just
The
really,
show is laser focused today.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Anyway.
that's how I felt about Akarium.
So let's cut to, I mentioned last time that we weren't done introducing new plots into the story, and this is kind of what I was talking about.
I was a little upset.
In that this week, everything kind of came crashing back in. It's like, okay, by the way, did you forget Troll Ingar's in the plot? And we go back to the first throne to check in with Troll, to check in, and Manala's there. We talked about the Talani Mass, a lot of stuff going on. AJ, what did you take away from this part?
It took me a second to remember who Manala was because we haven't heard her.
Really?
Well, it just like a second because like we haven't heard her name since.
I'm with you, AJ.
The beginning of House of Chains. The beginning of House of Chains, Kalam was like, "All right, bye, Manala," and that was it.
That's not true.
Yep.
She's at the end of House of Chains when they're like going to fucking hang out at the first throne
With her children.
Yeah.
Is she? I had no memory of that.
Troll rolls up and it's like, I'm going to protect you, and Manala's there and with App.
I had no memory of that. I was 100%
Sam.
with AJ. I was so confused for a minute.
Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
But we haven't had. I guess my point is we haven't had any like Manala content since Deadhouse Gates.
And now we've got a menagerie of Manala
and now
content.
Her menagerie of children.
Yeah.
Yes. Ooh, yeah.
No, I mean I thought this was cool. Happy to see my boys back and being sad and brothers with each other. It was very nice, very sweet, warmed my heart, but also very upset that they're hurt a lot. Manala says the number of her children's from 1,300 to 400, which is
it's bad.
Fucking wild. It's not good is the thing. It's not going good.
I have a question about, so, they saved all these children that were like kind of already dead, very brutally, only to turn them into child soldiers and kill them again.
Pretty much.
You don't
I was like, wow, they're so nice for saving these kids.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel good, House Shadow. Doesn't feel good,
Yep.
But I actually really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah.
It sucks though when she's like, yo, take these kids, like, let's stop this. And he's like, sorry, can't do it, too busy.
Yeah.
Can't, sorry.
The hands are tied.
Shadow Throne will get here at some point and heal everyone.
He's on his way. I already called him. He's on his way.
Well, and then he was like, I can send some demons or some bullshit, but only at the proper time. Whatever the fuck that means.
Talk about useless. But we do get like a lot of like cotillion moments in this chapter and these chapters. And I just feel so confused about what the fuck is going on with cotillion. But I mean, I think that Steve actually told us that we get to see like a different side of the gods, la-di-da. And I just am finding that I'm disinterested in their little human side. Just show me the action, baby.
What does that mean?
And now, real quick question: Cotillion, hot or not? Do we think?
Bro, I was just thinking the same thing.
He's got to be hot,
That's a good
right?
question.
I think hot,
I'm gonna have to take it.
I think
Google.
hot, and I think Shadow Throne's super not. It really
ditto. Cotillion hot, Shadow Throne not. That's that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank goodness.
I agree. I mean, you can't just call someone the rope and have them not be hot.
Oh, damn. I didn't even think of that, India.
Wow.
Plus, he's got
He
like
has
that
a rope.
apple thing going on, It's like...
So I'm looking at a picture, and he definitely looks like every main character from American Horror Story.
Oh, shit.
That's pretty hot.
Okay.
So hot and white.
Oh, yeah. We're presenting now. We're looking through.
Well, now that is just a picture of the guy from American Horror Story, but slightly adjusted.
Look at him.
Look at him.
Shy
He's got
smile.
a little, he's a little cutie knowing smile, you know?
Look at that rope.
Ooh.
Oh, the children. All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
So there's also a lot of talk, Josh, about the Talani Mass and what's going on with them in a greater sense and them going to war and the importance of this throne. So do you think the control of the Talani Mass is up for grabs in a meaningful way?
I didn't think that ever in these books until now, and now I don't know. I mean, it feels like they said the first hold kind of could maybe get like one army. I mean, it got the one Logros army and none of the others. I can't remember what did they say would be the key? They said there was something they could do, I thought, or did they not? Maybe they were just like, no, they're gonna go kill the Jagged forever in this faraway place.
A sale.
It really felt a sale. It really felt to me that was them being like, I know we said there were 4 other armies. We don't need to worry about them. Just pretend they're gone. All right. If we ever go to a sale,
they're too far away. The signal does not reach.
Please, readers, we don't need to fret about them. That's kind of what it felt like to me.
That's funny. We can leave it there.
I did just want to address the dragon shadows reaching across realms.
Oh yeah, Cotillion's like,
God. India texted about that, and she was like, I don't get it. And I was like, fucking
and
either.
then Manala says so many prisoners or something, and he's like, and so I looked at that line for like a solid 5 minutes. I was like, what the fuck does this mean? And I could not figure it out. Is this the thing we should know, Pete? Or is this just...
No, you're good. Don't worry about it. So, Inge, we cut back to... we're in the Eater fleet, but now we're on Samar Dev and Karsa's boat. And Samar Dev is talking all to Featherwitch, and Featherwitch, boom, she's back in the plot.
Fucking Featherwitch.
India called it too.
Fucking Featherwitch. I knew it. But she's still such a bitch. Oh God, Feather bitch.
I didn't think it was her, even with the finger thing.
Oh,
really?
I was
like, but I don't. I was like, I don't think Featherwitch can do magic, but she can now.
Yeah,
she got that finger, and she do finger magic now.
Inge did call it. I did think. I forget whether Inge was saying Taxillion was.
I thought that she
Featherwitch.
was the Taxillion.
Yeah, which is a different thing, but I did know that. I was like,
oh, man, if I was there, I had Featherwitch written down in my notes with a bunch of question marks, because like, is this Featherwitch?
Well, you weren't, AJ.
I wasn't.
That one's mine.
Yep, it belongs to India now.
There it is. Featherwitch.
I can't read. I'm sorry. I don't really
there.
know, AJ.
So, and then Samar's like, well, you fucking kill me. Karsa's gonna kill everyone. Fuck you, you know? And then she talks to Taxillion all about language and jazz. So, and
jazz.
And jazz. She's a big jazz head.
She's really into that esoteric shit,
Loves
you know?
Miles Davis.
She loves Sun Ra.
So, Inge, what did you make of Samar Dev here in this whole sequence?
Samar Dev is phenom. Love, as always.
She's the best. She's the best.
But didn't you say she's, like, not liked by a lot of people?
I don't think I said that. I think she's generally pretty liked.
Okay, I'm pretty into Samar.
Me too. Love Samar. And
Just saying it, I would kill for her.
So would Karsa.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't whine about it, okay?
No, I would not.
I agree. Anyway, yeah, Samar Dev's really awesome. I loved this part with her and Featherwitch, and I loved the conversation between her and the Taxillion and learning how, you know, he got there and what's going on with the boat and all that fun stuff. I also like when Featherwitch gets a little sassy and is like mad that Samar Dev won't teach her whatever language she speaks, and then is like, I'm gonna kill you, essentially. But then Samar's like, yeah, you try to kill me and Karsa will kill all of you. But then she's like, oh my God, am I like using Karsa as a weapon now?
Which is really good.
Yeah, I loved that little, like, wow, thought that she had, because, I don't know, I think until this point, she's had these, like, feelings about Karsa and how he's always running off and killing things and coming back and la-di-da. But now she herself is like, am I seeing him as a weapon only and not like my good pal Karsa? So I liked that. Overall, I think that this was the most interesting scene in all of the chapters. Because it was the only one that made sense.
I really love what you said, and I think there's a definite parallel between Samar's relationship with Karsa and Tarlak's relationship to Akarium. And, like, what do these great warriors mean? What does their power mean to to Akarium and Karsa, and then the people in their orbits who are trying to use their power or guide their power to whatever means it is, you know? So... I grok it, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think Karsa can kill Rulad?
I think Karsa can kill Rulad, but it's a matter of, like, can he breeze Bedek to keep Rulad from dying? You know, it doesn't, like, I don't think it matters if Karsa can cut him in half.
You don't think Karsa has breeze Bedek energy?
No.
I just don't understand how nobody has killed Rulad and then just, like, chopped his body up.
I was just getting ready to ask that. Did we see in Midnight Tides what would happen in that case?
I think...
Did someone chop his head off at any point?
I thought they just, like, filleted him.
Yeah, Breeze filleted him. Iron Bars, like, crushed his skull. I don't think he ever got beheaded, though, but I can't imagine it would be any different.
I just don't understand how nobody has thought to do that yet.
Yeah,
I would have
agreed.
thought to do that.
I mean, they could have. It seems like there have been a lot of people who have killed him.
So maybe it's happened. Whatever. All this to say, yes, Karsa as well, I think, is down for the cause.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. I think Karsa could like realize that killing him would do nothing, so maybe he'll just like break all his bones or something. But I just don't know.
Oh, violence.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know. But if we're just talking about killing, yes, absolutely.
So we end up back in Malaz City. Banashar is going to smuggle a message to Tashrin, shout out to Temper, what's up? And then Josh, Pearl is there, kind of like, damn, Lestar is dead. My, like, shout out, rip. And then he goes and speaks with Malik Rel, who we have not seen since book 2, I think?
Yeah, the end of book 2.
And what did you make of this conversation with Malik Rel? This,
Okay, you can start there. Malik Rel.
Before you get into that, can you just also briefly summarize who Malik Rel is?
Yeah, I got you. First off, before we get into Malik Rel, Pearl brings a soft boy energy that I really fuck with in a hard way. I loved him being so sad about Lestariel. Now, moving on. Malik Rel was so in book 2 during the chain of dogs with Coltane running away, okay? Corbelow Dom, the bad guy from book 4, was the general, the rogue Malazan general that was following them in book 2. Malik Rel was his mage, pretty sure.
The Gistal.
Or his advisor, maybe.
He was.
So Malik Rel is bad.
Or was he? No, Malik Rel, sorry. Malik Rel was the guy from the very beginning of book 2 who was talking with Duiker on the docks, who then went to Arin and was whispering in the ear of Pormqual, the guy who was running Arm, and he was like, don't go save them, it's a mistake, and he was acting like he was for the Malazans, and then when the Coltane's army got in, he's the one that convinced Pormqual to go out, only for them to all get captured, and then Malik Rel was the only one who didn't get crucified because he was the one who was making that plan all along, so he's like directly responsible for the crucifixion of that army.
Yes.
So Malik Rel we hate.
We hate Malik Rel, we hate Corbelow Dom. Corbelow Dom is the guy who, in book 4, his army was the Dog Slayers who got killed by ghosts. But he got knocked out by Pearl first, I think.
Yeah, and then he got captured and brought to the capital.
Yeah.
Yes.
They crucified the children.
No. Those were Seven Cities rebels who were crucifying children in book 2.
Okay.
But they crucified all the soldiers. Yeah, hate Malik Rel, hate Corbelow Dom, and I hate that they're so dumb, but this plan could work because Malik Rel is just so good at, like, sewing dumb shit. So he's directly responsible for these Wiccans dying. He fucking sucks. He might be my new least favorite character in the whole book series. I hate him so much.
How is he responsible for the Wiccans dying?
Because he's the one who was like, oh, and it's, those traitors, Coltane and Bolt. And you're supposed to get from that sentence that he's the one that's been spreading those rumors.
What a fucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sucks shit.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Okay, all right, so go ahead. Sorry. Thank you for the summary.
No problem.
I mean, I don't know if there's anything else, unless Josh has some big takeaway from this scene. I mean, Malik Rel's obviously gained a lot of influence,
He has, and it's a very... why can't they just kill him? I get it. He's like powerful or some shit. I don't even understand. Is he a magic dude or is he just like a politician?
He's a Gistal priest. So probably magic. I don't know.
Oh, thank you. So he's got some kind of warren tucked away.
Yeah.
He's a priest of Mail.
He's a priest of Mail. Oh, shit. Well, my boy Bug better get in here and
Say,
fuck
I can't
his
wait until
priest
he
up.
meets Bug and Bug just like fully turns him inside out or something. He's like, hey, this fucking sucks. Goodbye. And then,
every time Mail is mentioned in this book, I'm just like, my boy Bug.
Our good friend Bug.
Yeah.
Every time.
Literally.
I'm personal friends with this god.
Yeah. I do just want to say when Banashar's talking to Braventooth and he's drinking that red tea, and they're like, why is he drinking tea if he's trying to get drunk? And he's like, well, he needs to get drunk so he can cry, but he needs to drink the tea so that it looks like he's crying blood. Like, okay.
That is some metal shit, and I love it.
So stupid. That was like, so dumb.
Yeah.
Like funny dumb.
I don't know. I just liked that.
I was a big fan.
Yeah. Chapter 18. Bottle was eavesdropping. The Solanda is being brought into the Malazan fleet. Gessler and Stormy plan to remain on the ship and take it as their own. Admiral Noct reflects on how the army has changed, and Tavor speaks about the birth and growth of her army. Keneb says that Tavor belongs to the 14th now, and Tavor's face is troubled. The 14th have a new sigil of a burning city, a sloped wall, and a mass of skulls. The sigil is spreading throughout the army. Bottle eavesdrops on Fiddler. He talks about the deck of dragons and Tavor. Later, when Bottle is confronted about this, he feigns ignorance. Kalam, in the ropes of the ship, sees an eater fleet, trapping them in a pincer formation. Fiddler and Bottle can both feel the eater's sorcery. Samar Dev watches warlocks begin conjuring. Karsa warns Hanradi Kalag that if they provoke the Malazans, the Empire will come after them. Quick says the magic is from holds, and shot through with chaos. Tavor asks him to try and defend the fleet. Her sword may only be able to defend their own ship. Bottle feels Quickben's magic and wants to help. He then starts to feel the power of the aerosol. Quickben starts floating off the deck, channeling powerful magic. The different magics meet each other over the sea, imploding and collapsing. The Eater retreat, surprised. Their mages declare that the Malazans must have a Sita. Kalam speaks with Quickben. Quick says his magic was just an illusion, but something came and helped him. He doesn't know what. Bottle is helped up by Fiddler. Bottle complains that she plays with him. Tarlac Veed watches as the fleets begin to merge. He hears that amongst the Malazan fleet is a ship that used to belong to one of the Sengar's sons. And so Tomad mourns the loss, and the seeds of hatred for the Malazans are planted. Veed speaks of the many accomplishments of the Malazan and begins speaking of the Andi with Alrada An. Masan Galani is happy to be with the Bonehunters, and happy to have Quickben amongst them. Sin rests with her along with other children. The Ashok regiment have joined the Bonehunters, Masan Galani too. They will sew the new sigil onto their cloaks. Nil and Nether discuss Bottle, the aerosol, and whether they should tell the adjunct. Absalar speaks with Squint, the archer that killed Coltane. They speak of the Gardens of the Moon and love. Absalar reflects on Crocus and her lost love. Squint says love is too rare, and if they can talk again, they should. Squint leaves, and soon Cotillion joins Absalar. Together, they speak about the fate of Cutter, Solara, Felison Younger, and Heboric. They speak about the crippled god and cycles of justice. Absalar weeps about this, and Cotillion promises to find Cutter.
So, Josh, chapter 18 starts, and now we're on the ocean again, but this time we're in the Malazan fleet, and we hear about how the Salanda has been brought in. We hear about the plans for Gessler and Stormer to be on the ship, and then we hear, we see Tavor, and we just kind of check in with the 14th as they're also donning this new sigil. So what did you take away from some of these early establishing scenes here?
I thought it was really interesting that, and smart book writing to split up all the characters across the two boats, so that we can actually get to, have some POV characters along with Tavor, which was necessary.
I feel like in a way it's some of the most Tavor we've seen it so far.
For sure. We have not, and the most we've seen of her, speaking and, reacting to stuff. We don't often see her reactions, so thought it was cool. Love Bottle still just being the eavesdropper dude, and I don't know. I thought it was really fun. The Salanda is such a cool boat, and I cannot believe that it's a weird thing we thought would never come up again in book 2 is 4 books later still here and an integral part to the fucking series at this point.
Yeah, and it's becomes this thing that Tomad sees and is has this effect on Tomad.
Well, and now there we go. That was the time skip. That's where I knew there must be a bigger time skip than we realized, because Karsa killed those guys in book 2. Book 4, which happened before
book 2.
Yes. So there's been a big, and I guess that's probably Benatus, who was on that boat, was probably the guy using the magic, and it didn't work on Carceta because he's, fused with Otateril, which no one seems to get still. I don't know how. Anyway, anytime magic bounces off of him, they're like, it's like he's covered in something. Maybe the substance that stops magic. Anyway, so I thought that was all really cool, and some cool world building stuff, and the sigil's awesome. I think it's good they finally have something.
Yeah.
They're the Bonehunters now. They're their own thing.
They're the Bonehunters now in truth, not just in name or whatever the fuck they said.
I love that it was just like, oh yeah, Amber's like an apprentice jeweler, so we just had them make one.
That was
them make something up.
Still saying Amber's not real. Some weird bullshit.
Amber's
gonna be something.
Else.
Yeah.
I will say, I always feel like Amber exemplifies the type of person that history would erase as like a lesbian relationship and just be like, wow, Tavor had a friend that she enjoyed spending all her time with.
They slept in the same tent and they always hung out and she went to her in times of need. Yeah. Good friends.
Good friends. Anyway. Yeah, and then they talk about... Yeah. So, Inge, what'd you make? I wanted to touch more on this Tavor thing. I really agree with Josh. I brought it up, but I don't know. I agree with myself, I guess. Don't you think it's like the most we see of Tavor in like the whole series so far?
Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, the more that we see Tavor, the less interesting she actually seems.
Really?
Does nobody agree? I just feel like I'm only learning things that I'm just not feeling super great about. Like, I don't know.
I was gonna say, I don't know if she's less interesting, but she's definitely more human the more we hang out with her, which is interesting. I don't know how I feel about it.
The more words she says with her face, the more it seems like she's just like the rest of the Empire people.
Right, but that's what I mean by less interesting. Yeah. Like there's no big secret.
Yeah, it's not a mystery. She's not like some sort of like expert tech. I mean, maybe she is, but like she's also just a lady.
She's just like you and me.
Yeah, she's like a person on a boat. But I don't know. I do think later on in this or the next chapter when they face that magic wall, she's like pretty just like, well, all right. She's like pretty cool and collected under pressure, which I think is still very, very cool. But
so that actually happens this chapter, Aj. So we won't go through it beat by beat, but there's kind of a magic, clash. The Eater Warlocks are going to try and destroy the ships. Quick Ben responds with this illusion, and then the aerosol, Bottle wants to help Quick Ben, and then the aerosol influences Bottle, and then there's kind of the whole thing clashes and explodes and de-escalates in a way.
That was a weird scene. That was a weird fucking scene.
I loved it. I was fully on.
We gotta talk about the thing though.
We have to talk about it. It's the only thing I care about in the whole scene. That was just so fucking weird.
Why does she have to jerk him off every time she uses his magic?
Ew, it was so awkward. It was like he's excited. I was like, ah.
And it's at first I thought he had pissed himself, and then I was like, oh no, he came in his pants. What
came in his fucking pants.
I know the aerosol is like the primitive race, but can we not? Can we not though?
I hated that, honestly. I didn't get it. I don't understand why. It's just one of those things I don't get why it had to happen. What did it add to the story other than to make me feel extremely uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Me and Steve are going to have to talk about that because I feel I did not like it. It was strange. What was the inspiration for it, Steve? I got to know.
I mean, probably proto-human, right? But I don't know. Of all the, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It felt weird, and I don't think it'll ever be like a thing. It's like, here's why this needed to happen. I think it's just gonna be a thing that's gonna keep happening, and we're gonna have to deal with it.
Do you feel like it's played for laughs?
That's what got me. The guy was like, I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if it's meant to be funny. I really don't like it. If it's not meant to be funny, it's being written like it maybe is.
No, I think it's just like. I think it is exactly how we are feeling right now. It's just like we're uncomfortable by it and we don't know how to feel. Yeah. So we're like, this must be a joke, but I don't know. I don't think it is a joke. I just think it is a thing that is happening and that we kind of need to just deal with because it is happening.
I agree, AJ. I agree. And I guess that's not the most interesting part because honestly, so I just want to go through what I understood and then we can just correct her or go from there. So my understanding was that Quickben was gonna do some shit, but I think it was always just gonna be like kind of a front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then something actually happened, and it's because whatever jerked off bottle did it.
Yes, it's 100%
Yeah,
accurate.
it was going to be an illusion, and then all of a sudden it wasn't.
And then going a little bit further, then Nil and Nether, I'm sorry to take it here, but I need to complete my package. So then Nil and Nether are like, we know that something went in Bottle. Nether has a crush on Bottle, and we're not. And if Quickben pretends that Quickben did this, then we'll make next steps. But if Quickben doesn't pretend that he did this, then we'll know what to do next. Type thing. Is that so? Nil and Nether are in the know just because they are, correct? But no one else knows what happened.
I think
that it wasn't
so.
actually Quickben.
Yes. Well, I think Quickben knows something happened. I don't know if he knows exactly that it was Bottle.
No, Quickben was like, bro, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
But doesn't know that it was Bottle.
I don't know if he doesn't know.
What the fuck is up with Bottle? Am I right?
I guess
Bottle's crazy.
I guess maybe. Honestly, I really don't know. Here's me reaching. I'm not a huge fan. Maybe it has something to do with this god is violating him in a bodily way and a power way, and so it's this god's also violating him in this way. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's confusing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, moving right along.
I mean, aside from that, I think the whole sequence is really cool, and
It was sick.
I love when they're the Malazans have a Sita. It's fucking play some electric guitar,
Yeah. Oh, I like that too. That was fun.
I loved Samar at the end too. She was like, ha!
Yeah.
She made it really big for me. Really exciting.
It's really good.
I do just want to, we skipped over it a bit, but I do just want to address that Fiddler has a new deck of dragons that has a new house in it.
That to Amber made? Yeah, what the fuck is up with to Amber?
She's just Tavor's good friend.
She's Tavor's good friend who is an amateur duelist and also an artist who happens to have intimate knowledge of the deck of dragons.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's weird about that?
Everything. We've never even seen her.
Who is she?
We saw her once briefly or something, but the readers didn't. Like a character was and there's to Amber.
They're gonna describe her and it's just gonna be Amanda Rake. It's fuck.
To Amber, her lover, she's 8 foot tall, with flowing white hair and a giant sword.
She always wears a black dragon mask. Josh, we mentioned it before, Tomad Sengar appears to be having a bad time, and it blames the Malazans for the losses of his sons.
Bad fathers always blame others, so classic.
Damn, bro. Taking no prisoners.
No prisoners, unlike these Eater.
Nice.
Well, I think I heard you guys talking about this before I got on the mic, the Masan Galani stuff.
Yes. Yeah. I felt uncomfortable. There was a lot of nipple sucking talk in this section of the book.
And a lot of nipple fondling.
Yeah.
I mean, if you mean a lot, you mean the 2 paragraphs that it happened, then yeah, I guess.
That was enough. AJ, one of them had milk and the other was this. And both were not good.
The Solara stuff.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Also, that's just
nipples.
a natural... Stop being gross, Josh. That's just a natural human body function, okay? Women make milk when they have babies, okay?
Women make milk, baby!
Okay.
One day, guys, I can make milk.
All right.
All right.
One day.
I agree. Yeah, I believe in you, Inge. I believe in you.
Power moves only.
Yeah. just stunning on us over here.
Yeah.
Milkless losers.
Yep.
Pete, was there a specific reason you wanted to bring that up, or just because you heard us talking about it?
I just heard you guys talking about it. But they've all joined, and they're kind of just coloring in kind of more of the forces that actually comprise the Bonehunters that are now Bonehunters in truth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But not Bonehunters and truth, you know?
God damn it.
Sorry.
Inge mentioned the Nil and Nether stuff, the Crush stuff, and then their discussion about whether to tell the adjunct about the aerosol. But what I really wanted to get to is this last conversation, because there's two different conversations, and I want to talk about both of them. So, first...
Oh, real quick, so can I interrupt, because you said Nil and Nether? I'm sorry, can I pop in? Who is it that Nil or Nether... I forget which one's which. The girl one? Who they have a crush on?
Bottle.
Is it do they have a crush on Bottle? I couldn't tell if it was Bottle or if it was the aerosol itself. I was really confused. But one of them's got a crush on someone.
I thought it was Bottle, and they were mad because she was mad that that the aerosol got to jerk off Bottle, and she was like, "But it wasn't my hand."
I think that was. I think you might be right. I forget what it was, but I remember thinking like I loved it. I thought it was very funny.
I thought it was funny too. Nil and Nether are just like so random. So like I just feel like they're there just to like move us along sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're like one of the only voices that we get that like kind of know what's going on.
Yeah,
you know,
and they've been around for a while. We've known Nil and Nether since what, book 2?
Book 2. Yeah,
love them.
Reborn.
We've really grown up with Nil and Nether, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I was going to say is I wanted to get to these final two conversations Apsalar has, and first person she speaks to is the archer that killed Coltane, Squint.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
until she said it, I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Until she said it, I could not remember.
She kind of talks about maybe the loss of innocence and the loss of love, and Squint is like, life's short, you know? So, AJ, what did you make of this conversation?
I thought it was nice. I really I was like, okay, this is an interesting conversation. Maybe they'll be friends. But then at the end of the section, when they were both like when we got their in their head thoughts where they were like, I can't believe I just talked to the person who killed Cotillion, or like Coltane. I can't believe I just talked to the person that was possessed by Cotillion. Like, I don't know. I thought it was just very nice that they were both able to kind of be normal people, but also they were, you know, still doing spy stuff or whatever. I don't know. I liked it.
I liked it too.
Yeah. I wrote that they were friends.
I also really liked it.
Josh, did you really like it?
I was ambivalent.
What was your other emotion?
No, I liked it. I was just trying to be divisive.
Oh,
I was trying to add some tension to the show.
Yeah, there's not enough tension in this show ever. I do really like that when Apsalar, reveals that she knows who Squint was. She says he did the right thing taking Coltane's life, but he's the only one who can't live with that. Which I thought was really, really sad. Because it seems like Squint has like, you know, made himself this person that's like not connected to anybody or does his best to like stay away from everyone just because he thinks everyone hates him. But in reality, it's just because he doesn't like the thing he had to do.
It's almost like there's like a parallel with Apsalar, so it's like crazy. It's like she's never done something like that, so close one.
Almost like that.
Oh, yikes.
Shit.
That was a good one, PB.
And also, shout out to Gardens of the Moon, you know? It's like she said the title of the book, you know?
Yeah, oh my god. And then this section ends with, there were clouds closed fast around the moon, and one by one, gardens died.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Ugh.
Man.
You don't love to see it.
Nope.
And then I was just like, wow, that's some imagery. And then the fucking moon falls the next chapter.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Foreshadowing.
Then, Inge, what's that? Who's that shows up? It's Cotillion, the rope. And they have a big conversation about what happened with the whole other crew, the crippled god, justice. Apsalar is pretty hard on herself. What did you?
And it ends in a nice hug.
Yeah, what'd you make of this talk?
It was fine. It was good. I liked it. In theory, I enjoyed it. But it's just like I don't understand. Like I don't know. Like is Cotillion like a cool guy or is he an asshole? Like it's just so annoying and confusing because he really ruined Absalar's life when you think about it. And now
100%.
literally, she was a fisherman's daughter. She was going to live a very normal life.
Well, at this point, she'd probably be killed.
Yeah, I think they did actually end up killing her whole
her whole shit. Yeah.
Anyway,
but Shadow Throne and Cotillion did all that killing.
Right, they did do that. So regardless, so whichever way you turn it, it is their fault. So that conversation where I'm like, aw, so nice that they're able, that first of all, he's coming here to be like, yeah, Crocus is probably dead. Scolara's alive, had a baby and gave it away. But Crocus, he might be alive. I'll go find out for you. I'm going to take care of this for you. And it's like, and she's like, oh, hugs, crying, weeping. And it's like, to me, it's just like, fuck, man. Like, no, you asshole, fuck off. But also, I can understand, like, the tenderness of the moment because Absalar obviously is, the people that she's with are like, don't trust her for shit for something that really wasn't even in her control. And now she's shady. But, like, of course she's shady. So it's very isolating. And the only person that she can, like, turn to is the person who ruined her life.
Yeah, as I say, I think Cotillion feels bad for ruining her life, but also he's inadvertently made his only friend. Out of sheer convenience.
It's literal, like, grooming. Like, it's so bad.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
I somewhat agree with the take, and I don't love it.
I'm oohing because I agree and don't love it.
Yeah, you said that, and that wrecked my that opened my whole mind. I've seen the fifth dimension.
Thank you. Anyway, I digress.
But also, could you do this favor for me? And then, like, don't worry about it. But you don't need to. But, like, could you do this thing for me? You know?
You really have no other purpose to live. So why don't you just do favors for me now? You're welcome. Because it comes up, like, often, like, they keep mentioning, like, oh, well, it seems like she wants to die. Like, she's trying to die. And it's like, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I gotta say, Absalar's having a pretty bad time. I feel like
it's a tough one out here.
Doesn't feel good.
Yeah, so that's how I felt about that scene. Still, that's it. That's really it. That's all I have.
Josh, what'd you take away from these two conversations at the end of the chapter?
Well, I mean, I would say essentially nothing new from what everyone else said. So I feel like we had a good discussion on it. We can move on.
Yeah,
Grooming is bad.
I just really love the little justice paragraph that Absalar has. Like a sword that kills its maker, justice comes in cycles. Or there is cycles to justice, and then just talks about how...
Like Dragnipur and Draconis.
Like the sword that kills its maker, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just all of that stuff, it's like, we all have intentions, but they don't really matter, or they'll get turned into something else. I don't know. I just thought it was good. So, thank you.
I thought both conversations were good. I love how the chapter ends. I mean, it makes me feel really bad.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
But like in a good way, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. I've been very sad. So, ditto.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to hear that, bud.
Anyways, let's keep it rolling.
Chapter 19. Barathol can hear Solara and Cutter having sex. Later, Barathol and Solara talk together about it. Cutter thinks the moon is looking funny, and Barathol thinks something could have hit it. In a nearby village, they find a boat and some supplies. They speak together and eventually set sail towards the Otateral Island. Onrak speaks with Trull about what it means to be broken. He fights with his newly found emotions. He still plans to challenge the leader of the Tist Eater. He is tired of watching his friends die and will soon fight with anger. Pearl waits for Banashar, and the two speak. They speak of Tashrin and Banashar's message for the High Mage. They talk of the Cult of Drek's slaughter. The goddess killed her followers for choosing the crippled god and demanding the power of blood. Banashar thinks Tashrin's knowledge will help. Pearl thinks soon that the gods will betray their followers and all other mortals. Pearl says Lysine will soon come to the city. Mappo watches Lady Spite speak with the spirits. The ship is crewed by Andy ghosts. Spite then speaks with Mappo about Mail, the convergence of all things, and if Mappo can stop Akarium. Terlek Veed tells Akarium soon that the Eater will test him. Akarium doesn't understand why. Then they speak about peace by the sword. Bottle speaks with Fiddler about the aerosol and the sorcery of the Eater. Quickben and Kalam speak about the adjunct. They agree she knows more than she's letting on. Then they speak about 7 cities and whether they've won. The Malazan fleet arrives to the island of Sepik. It is the site of a slaughter by the Eater. Tavor goes off to find Quickben. Absalar speaks about how the Eater are going home, and Keneb speaks with Nil and Nether. Cutter says that Sepik belongs to the Empire, and that what the Eater have done is an act of war against the Malazans. Bottle is worried where the aerosol is taking the fleet, and thinks that some allies you don't want.
Josh, Scalara, what's up? Like, what's your take? What do you think, bro? What's going on with these crazy cats?
I think sometimes people need a good fuck, and I think Solara is really good at knowing those moments and understanding that sometimes that's what someone needs. And in this case, it worked out. Now, do I think that's a great long-term choice?
Now, how do you think Crocus is going to handle that?
Yeah, our soft lad.
I mean...
Now, Josh, remember that he did fall in love with a girl because he stole one of her wines.
I was gonna say he's gonna... It's tough because I feel like the Crocus now is definitely so different from Book 1 Crocus with, Chalice to Auril. So I'm hoping he's like... No, he's a soft boy. He's gonna fall in love with her. I'm trying to kid myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. The milk thing still was weird to me. I think he shouldn't have said it.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it killed the mood.
I just wonder if that's like a thing that people do.
For sure.
You know there are people that are into that, India. Deep down. You know
definitely
it.
Inge.
I think both in a sex way and in a not sex way.
Oh, but getting away from the gross shit, beautiful moment when Cutter's like, asks about, you don't even have a name in your head. And Solara's like, if I have a name in my head, I have to go back and get it.
Yeah.
I was like, so she does care. She is just forcing herself not to. And I was like, that is some solid one-sentence characterization. Thank you, Steve. Loved it.
Yeah.
This episode's all over the place. We're just...
Yeah.
I think it's very good.
Not in a bad way. It's just like I'm just acknowledging.
I agree in a good way though. I like
talking very seriously about Bottle, plugging Rick and Morty. Just a lot of different tones on the show today.
Now here's a question, Pete, for you. Why was this village empty? I didn't fully understand. Was it because they had run from the plague, but the plague's over now? The Tano Spirit Walkers cured it, if that's fucking true at all.
I guess for the same reason. It probably had to do with the plague. That was my thought.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
How lucky that it was a port town and there were lots of boats available.
Well, Josh, you see, this is a book, and people need to be able to get to their next destination to do things.
Whatever.
All right.
Fine.
So at this point, the moon has not yet started to go all topsy-turvy, but everyone's looking at the moon, and throughout this chapter, like, the moon looks weird.
Moon's looking pretty weird.
Moon's looking pretty weird.
Now, is the moon always visible in the day in the world of Malazan?
I didn't think about that. Like, are all of these scenes dusk?
Yeah, I had that thought a lot during these chapters because it's not off. I mean, I get it. I guess I'm never like, love that sun today. Beautiful boy up there. So I guess if the moon was always hanging in the sky, I would kind of just like let it be.
Well, Josh, you make a great point. I often look up to the stars and moon and wonder at their beauty. Never do I look at the sun and think, what a great sun.
Yeah.
Christ. All right.
There's probably other reasons for that, though, like the blind stuff.
So Onrak talks about his life now that he's got all these emotions.
Human emotions.
Yeah. He's got these feels. And he's going to fight with anger.
That, honestly, chilling. Because
What
the
does
fact,
that mean?
the Talane Mass, India, they are so emotional. Everything they do, it lacks any emotion.
Yeah, there's a lot of times when they speak, it's like they say in a monotone way or something. Like, everything
and
is
so
very...
that extends to their fighting. Like when they fight, they're not angered. They're not fighting for survival. They are just fighting because in that moment, that is what they are doing. And so he's implying that in this next battle, he will be fighting for a reason, which implies that he's going to just kill countless people. So
Was that, just a quick question. Do you remember in the book with Lady Envy and she had those people that constantly tried to attack?
Yeah.
yes.
The Segula.
That was
Segula.
funny. Remember, they would just randomly attack him and he would have to fight?
I loved the Segula. So good.
They're great.
That was so good. I'm sorry to bring that back. That just reminded me of Onrak.
We keep getting these little maybe Lady Envy will be there. And so I'm just from spite, and I'm like, man, all I want is for her to be back. I loved her so much. She was great.
I want her and my Segula boys
literally
here.
Anyway, I digress. Sorry.
Maybe it's just because I connect her with Talk in my head, and I just want my boy Talk back. I don't know.
I love Talk. Hey man, we got some winners of Woofs.
Yeah, we got some Tog and Fanderay talk. Woohoo! But that's later.
So but this whole battle is gearing up to be them, and that's the Crippled Gods team, and then the us. And so at some point, maybe in the next episode, guys, I really think that we need for me, we need to break down who's on their side and who's on the other side.
I think
India, truly, we don't know. That is the crux of the problem right now, is we don't fully understand what the sides are. There might be 15 sides. They might all fall under save, burn, and kill the planet, but then within save, burn, there's so many people vying for their own ulterior motives. I really don't think we know yet.
Yeah, Josh is mostly on point. I mean, there's what exactly the shape of War of the Gods even means,
right,
is kind of, I think, something Perrin and people like Quickpen are sussing out actively throughout this book.
Yeah.
The thing is, I need to know.
Sure.
So
sure. I mean, there's a surefire way to find that out, and that's to just keep reading the books.
Google.
If only there were more books. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this last section, I think some shit's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and we'll learn some things, but I don't know.
So we return to Banashar for another section with him, and he speaks more about trying to reach the High Mage. This is the part where we learn about why the Cult of Drek was slaughtered.
Yeah,
and then he speaks with Pearl, who speaks about gods betraying not only their followers but all mortals, and that the Empress Lysine will soon come to Malaz City itself.
Yeah.
Josh, why do you think the Empress is coming?
Well, Pete, I would expect it's because there's so much bad shit happening in this city.
So she's...
And that was Josh Baker live on the scene.
Yeah.
Sure.
I could list stuff. We've got Malik Rel and Corbelow Dom. We've got mobs killing Wiccans in the street. There's lots of rain, apparently. So I expect she's going to come try and fix some of that.
It is a rainy city.
Yeah. Or maybe they just sink it, start over.
You know, the whole isle that our empire's named after, fuck it.
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes you got to kill your ghosts.
Damn, dude.
So, Mappo speaks with Spite, Inge, and they speak about Mael and whether Mappo can stop Akarium. So, Inge, what do you think of the time Mappo's spending on Spite's ship? You know, we're kind of learning more about Spite as a character. What do you make of her?
I just feel like you can never be sure until, Steve makes it obvious for me. If somebody is, doing something good or if somebody is doing something like secretly bad. And that's how I feel about Spite. Not only because Spite's name is Spite, but because like also just like who Spite is, like they're just like, you know, the people that are like the highest up, I'm just like, I don't know if I trust you. So what is Spite's like reason for even being involved in this? I still don't get.
Yeah,
so what?
I don't think we know.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's like, I don't know how to feel about Spite because I'm not sure what the motive is behind anything that she's doing. Do I like knowing more about a strong female character? Of course I do. But as for her actual motives, I'm in the dark. Do I think Mappo can stop Akarium? No. Akarium has no fucking idea who Mappo is in this moment.
I do hear you. It is like when you don't know what someone's up to, you get pretty suspicious about it, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when also she's like working with the nameless ones and junk, you know? AJ, Tarlak Veed is talking to Akarium about bringing peace by the sword. You know, classic kill someone and then there's less murder in the world.
Right. Right. If I'm the only one, if I'm murdering all the bad people, then there'll be only good people left.
That's some classic dumbass tyrant logic.
Who are bad people? Well, the ones that I think are bad.
All the side of the bad people are. Kill them, and then there'll be no violence.
Right.
Da-da.
Yeah. Well, no, I will kill them with my Iron Giant person. Like, that was all I could think at the end of the section is, like, Akarium is just the Iron Giant. Like, I don't know if y'all have a good memory of that movie, but there's a straight up part where the Iron Giant says, "I'm not a gun." And just like the government is just trying to turn him into a gun. So in this case, Akarium is the Iron Giant and Tarlak Veed is the government.
But have you considered that if the Iron Giant just killed the right people, that then there would be no more violence?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there is.
I have thought of that.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I thought. It's extremely stupid, and I can't wait for it to backfire on him because fuck Tarlak Veed.
Yeah.
I still love reading Tarlak Veed's point of view.
It is. It's a great point of view. It's a great literature, but fuck this dude.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything to say about this bottle scene? I just feel bad for him, to be honest. So it just...
Yeah, he's just sad. I mean, not sad, just like kind of confused.
All right, Josh, then let's talk about an awesome fucking scene where Quickben and Kalam are talking, and they're like, did we win at Seven Cities? Was this whole thing worth it? Did we come away with the W? You know? And it's like, what was the point of books 2 and 4 for them? You know?
I love, as the series go on, how Quickben and Kalam, who in books 1 and 2 are unassailable figures of doom, are slowly but surely, they're like, they've reached, you know, like in corporations, you reach your incompetence level. Like you keep getting promoted because you're good until you hit the level where you're not good anymore and you kind of just stuck there. It feels like they've hit that level, but then they still got promoted a couple times and they're like, fuck, man, we keep kind of just doing the right thing, but it's always on accident and we're never confident about it. And now we are in some shit. Like Quickben is literally hiding under the ship because he doesn't want to be up top. Yeah. It's so funny. I love all of it.
I love when Tavor is like, hey, can you use some magic to find Quickben? And Absolar's just like, he's just in the basement. Like he's just under.
He's hiding. It's so good.
I love when Kalam's like, I've never trusted you.
Yeah. It's so good. Everything, all of their interactions are incredible. But I think their conversation's really, really poignant. Like I have felt that way as soon as we saw the whole young Fellison becoming the new Shaikh. That was my very first thought. Was like, well, what the fuck have we been doing here? I think it's great. I love that they are not these two. I mean, it makes sense. They're from Seven Cities. Yes, they've been Malazans for a while, but I think it's good to see that they understand that, like, you know, what they're doing should have consequence, it should, I don't know, I just think it's good that they're so reflective, I guess is the way I should put it. And love them to death, and I love how they are boys in this whole chapter and next chapter. They do not leave each other's side, which is so funny.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a really interesting conversation. What'd you think, AJ?
I like how Quickben and Kalam are finally catching on to like the crippled god's MO of just like, it doesn't matter, everything's for me. Like Drygen never belonged to the cripple god, nor Palil, and then he's cut off, says, hardly matters. It ended up serving them both. Or it's ended up serving them both, hasn't it? And, like, yeah. Everything shitty that happens, no matter how hard you try, is in the end probably going to serve the cripple god. Like, just a really interesting, I guess, realization from them. Because, like, I don't know, I feel like that's something I've been saying ever since, you know, book 2 or 3 or whatever. It's like, hey, it's chaos, baby. It's do whatever you want. And I think they're finally catching on of like, oh, shit. Like, I don't know if there's anything that we can really do about this. But, you know, I just love the dynamic that Josh is talking about of just like two guys who have been promoted to incompetence. It's just like really good seeing them kind of being like, fuck. I liked it.
Nice stuff. Yeah, so the fleet arrives at the Isle of Sepik, and they see that the Eater have slaughtered many of the people, and then they're going to talk to Quick Ben. So I just wonder, Ange, if you had any closing thoughts to put a pin in this chapter, or any of the stuff we kind of got over.
Mostly, when I think about that part, the only thing I was hoping is that Absalor and Crocus will meet again. In Sepik.
That's funny.
I don't know where Crocus is, but I want him to come back. Anyway, I didn't really understand why. Look, I don't understand why the Eater are just going around and, like, why did they kill everyone in Sepik?
Because they had Eater slaves, and those are the Eater slaves that are actually crewing the boat that either, I think Karsa is on, pretty sure,
that's what
or
yeah.
Akarium.
I knew that they had the Eater people there, but I just didn't know.
Yeah, they had Eater slaves, and apparently they've been slaves for so long, they, like, don't have any of the connection to Shadow anymore, or whatever the fuck, so they were very upset, so they killed everybody.
This is true.
Do you think that and then one last thing is, well, I don't really know, because the way that they keep talking about Mail, aka Bug, it seems like I wonder how many years has it been since, like, I just wonder what's going to come next. The end of this chapter left me curious for what's next, hungry for more.
Hungry for more. Well, let's get into it and talk about chapter 20 then. Chapter 20. High Fist Perrin marches with his army and thinks about the Daragoth, and if it was a mistake to release them. Sweet Crack is complaining about Perrin when she sees strings of suns in the sky. Noto Boyle tells Perrin about the sky and wonders about it. Perrin goes to see if his deck of dragons is finished being painted, and wonders if the falling sky has to do with the war among gods. Pust and Mappo watch the sky light up. Flames weather in Jade. Spite turns into a dragon and pulls the ship away. Fiddler and Bottle watch the sky. He thinks Quickben should flee. Helene is drunk, gets another drink from Nock, and then goes below deck. Tavor speaks to Absalor about the falling sky and faith in those with vision. Ormolgan has not finished the deck. However, Perrin, hoping to summon Mail, instead summons Hood. Perrin speaks with the god and they make a bargain. Then, Hood tells Perrin the one thing he wants more than anything else. And Perrin agrees to give it to him. Stones streak down from the sky and destroy the boat with Cutter. Heboric's body falls off the deck. Barathol, Scalara, and Cutter are tossed into the water soon after. A dragon is spotted above them. Heboric awakes. He hears voices screaming, the voices in Jade Giants. He thinks he is a shield anvil, and tells these voices to come for his hands. Barathol finds Chower with green light. Scalara then spots the Otateral Isle. It is surrounded by a green dome. Jade hands lifting up, supporting the dome. The fire in the sky start to converge and fall upon it. The dragon lifts them up, out of the water. Heboric reaches out to the voices. Spite places them on her ship. Barathol then climbs aboard out of the ocean with Chower. Spite then lands and returns to her human form. Cutter hears about Heboric's body, and he says Heboric saved him. Mappo then admits to Cutter that he lost Akarium and cries. Spite feels bad for Mappo, but it was the Nameless One's plan. She then hopes Akarium encounters her sister, Lady Envy. Perrin returns to the group. Kenneb thinks about their inevitable death. Then he thinks of the Nethel, the people native to the lands nearby. The Nethel had conquered the Trell, and Kenneb wonders if they also conquered the Parish. Quickben speaks with Kalam about Perrin, Hood, and Tavor. Quickben says something is amongst the fleet, and he has set a trap for it. Kenai Beralta thinks on Tavor, and feels betrayed. Then the jagged Gethel, the herald of the House of Chains, comes to him. He says that the fist is broke and discarded. He offers an alliance with the crippled god. Gethel tells him to wait, and that soon he and his Red Blades will be needed. Lestara hears Tene talking, and thinks about what Cotillion told her. The Grey Helms of Parish approach the Malazan fleet. Adorned with wolf imagery, they speak about their encounters with the Eater, and then say Tavor waits with the end of the world. And then they pledge their allegiance to the Adjunct. They fight in the name of Tog and Fandaray. Quickben then makes some connections about the Grey Helm, and runs to speak to Adjunct Tavor. Before we even get into this discussion, AJ, you mentioned that you really loved the epigraph from this chapter, and not to detach from me and Josh's amazing epigraph miniseries, but let's bring that energy onto the main show for a sec. That's a plug. Now, read it for me. I completely forget it.
Sure. So this is an epigraph from the mortal sword Berkelion of the Grey Swords. Discipline is the greatest weapon against the self-righteous. We must measure the virtue of our own controlled response when answering the atrocities of fanatics. And yet let it not be claimed in our own oratory of piety that we are without our own fanatics. For the self-righteous breed wherever tradition holds, and most often when there exists the perception that tradition is under assault. Fanatics can be created as easily in an environment of moral decay, whether real or imagined, as in an environment of legitimate inequity or under the banner of a common cause. Discipline is as much facing the enemy within as the enemy before you. For without critical judgment, the weapon you wield delivers, and let us not be coy here, naught but murder. And its first victim is the moral probity of your cause. I just thought it was real good. Just a good, in context, not fully sure why it's here, but I love Berkelion in Memories of Ice. I think he lives what he preaches in this epigraph, and I just think this is a good epigraph about not holding your own beliefs as the only truth, and being able to do self-introspection and stuff.
I do get you, and I don't really know why it's in front of this chapter.
Right, yeah.
Well, because we have some mortal sword and some shield anvil talk.
Yeah, you think that's why?
Yeah, I think that's basically the thing, is like we get what the mortal sword's stance should be, I suppose.
I guess but like the meaning of what Berkelion is saying there, I don't feel is super correlated with some of the stuff in this chapter. But anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought it was very good in and of itself.
Yeah. No, it's a good vibe. So let's get into it. So High Fist, Ganos Perrin is on the walk. And he's like, I don't know if releasing the Daragoth was a good idea. And then and then we also see Sweet Crack complaining, and Nodo Boyle talks with Perrin because they all see that the sky is like lighting up. And then Perrin checks in about the deck of dragons being made. Josh, what'd you make about checking in with the fledgling High Fist, Ganos Perrin?
I mean, I thought it was really interesting. I love Noto Boyle and Perrin's relationship, and the little comment he makes about Noto Boyle rather like going off and talking with some shitty person rather than staying with Perrin, and he was like, "Huh, I wonder if I should reflect on that," and then he just doesn't. I thought it was really great. The Ormel guy making the deck of dragons and taking too long to do it and trying it to be perfect is so on brand and good, but it's also so good that they're so bad, I think, that like Perrin grabs Hood instead of Mail or something weird like that. Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's comedy. That's comedy gold. I would love to have that painter always in these books.
So let's just, cut straight into that dialogue right now. So Perrin takes this card, he's trying to speak with Mail, but ends up summoning Hood. Hood is there and is like, I want one thing in the world. And then we cut away, and then Perrin will say what it is. I guess heard what it is. So, but regardless, Perrin agrees to kind of help Hood out or whatever. What do you think about this decision, and what do you think the God of Death could want more than anything else?
It's a good question, because I don't really know. At first, I was like, how did Heboric come back? Was that? But then why? Like, why would he want Heboric to come back? Mm-hmm. So I feel like, what if I don't know. That's what I felt like it was, but like, I don't know what else it could be.
Yeah, it's just like another one of those situations where the gods are like, yeah, I could want this thing, and then us as readers are like, why would you want this thing? And then we just will find out sometime, maybe. Yeah.
What if he just wanted like a nice sweater? What if Hood's realm is like actually really chilly and like he just wants like a nice,
I want you to make me a new Hood card, but give me a sick guitar. Yes. That's all he wants. It's just a new House of Death card with a guitar on it.
So good. Also give me a 6-pack.
You didn't like that, Pete?
You can't believe everything you see in the deck of dragons,
Yeah, that's what they say.
Anyway, so but that conversation as well happens with Hood underneath this jade falling sky, and we kind of flash around to different parts of it. Fiddler and Bottle look up at the sky, Pust and Mappo look up at the sky, Hellion looks up at the sky. We're seeing it all. And Tavor speaks to Apsalar about this, and I don't think we've ever had a conversation with these two before, unless I'm mistaken.
Nope.
AJ, what was your impression of seeing these two talking about faith and people with vision?
I mean, I just think this was interesting in this whole section with Tavor, this part, and then the chapter previous, I think, with Tavor just like talking and like being in the conversations and not just like, do this thing. Okay. Like, I don't know. I thought this was very interesting. And I thought, I don't know. Apsalar describes Tavor's expression as philosophic as she watches all the shit come out of the sky. It's just, I don't know. I love it because it's here. I'm just going to read this section, this little piece. All of our plans are conceits as if the sheer force of our wills, each of us, can somehow ensure that all else remains unchanged, awaiting naught but what we do, what we say. Just like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just like everything's kind of futile.
I think it's interesting to see her in more dialogue here. I think it's tough because I think Tavor is actually a really well-drawn character.
Sure.
However, I'm aware that, and this is why I think he like describes her as philosophic here, which I think I don't like. I don't like that writing. But I understand this struggle of like, how do you make clear that there's more going on than just like a quiet person who says nothing all the time and isn't around.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because like I understand how this feels like, oh, well, this is nobody and not a part of the story and I don't care about this character. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's like a difficult thing because there are these elements of Tavor that aren't like front and center and we're like talking about all the time. But obviously just having her never around or doing anything is also kind of untenable. So, I mean, I like the scene.
Yeah.
But
I get that. I don't know. I never saw Tavor as like a nothing character. Like I feel like a lot of her personality and beliefs and stuff were expressed via like what we saw the Malazans doing and stuff, and how they were acting and whatnot. I don't know. And with like the little scenes we got of her with like Pearl and whatnot. Like I feel like that characterization of her, I don't know, was enough for me, but I guess I get what you're saying, and like she could be really seen as like a nothing.
No, I agree. I think she's richly drawn. But she is not, I don't know. She's not one of these other characters. Pick one you want.
Yeah,
you know?
that's fair. She's not, I guess she's not as characterized as like any of the 14th are, or like, you know.
No.
She's more
it's also
complex
just
than like Smiles, who likes to throw a dagger.
Whoa. I can't believe you fucking do my girl Smiles dirty like that.
She does like to throw daggers, and she's upset. Anyway, so let's cut over to Cutter.
I see what you did there.
Wasn't even on purpose. And as everyone's like noticing the sky from different parts of Seven Cities, but it's when we're on the boat with Cutter, Scalara, Barathol, and Chower when shit really goes bad. So comes just plummeting down out of the sky. Boat gets destroyed. They get thrown in the water. They end up getting rescued. Josh, what were you trying to say?
At what point, as Cutter, would you have been like, nah, I'm out? Because I feel like, I mean, he died, essentially. His girl left him. He's getting hit by rocks just shooting out of the sky. He's, like, drowning. I mean, like, at what point do you just stop? You know what I mean?
Like, can you take a hint, you know?
Yeah. I feel like the universe is, like, doing everything in its power to be like, get back to Darujistan, you imbecile. And he just doesn't get it.
Yeah. I mean, like, he was just talking about Darujistan 2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah. R.I.P.
So, Inge, you mentioned it. Heboric quasi wakes up. I don't want to make it sound like he like rolls up and is like, "Oh, Cutter, I've always appreciated you." You know, he's like kind of tripping out in the water. His hands are hands. It's like a whole like he's hearing these voices. It's Heboric, Jade stuff. What you make of it, Inge? He's back. He's back. Our favorite Tusky boy.
Is he back?
So excited.
He's like kind of just a little back.
Can you sense my enthusiasm? It's just like the same shit. This happens all the time. Heboric goes into that like weird state and everybody's like, Heboric, help. And he's like, I can't. But this time he's like, Ness, I can. Take my hand. So like, I don't know. I'm over it. I don't even know. I forgot what the shield anvil. I guess that's the guy that was like obviously pardoning everyone in that last book, and you guys were like, "Oh, that's so nice."
Yeah, Edcovian. Yeah,
it was nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is that confirmed?
Is what confirmed about that?
That he's that.
That he's the shield anvil? I mean, he seemed pretty convinced.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ever gonna get like a. Like, I don't think Treach is going to come up and be like, hello, here's a list of my friends, and here are their positions. Like,
yeah.
So
I think we're just going to keep...
Do y'all think it's kind of funny that, like, this old-ass man with no hands got tiger stripes, and he was like, you know, there's 3 positions, and you know what one I fulfilled the best is number 1 kill boy. That's what I do. Like, it's number 1 kill boy, sad man, or holy god. And it's like... Heboric, sad man, was calling for you from the jump. I don't know how he didn't see it coming.
Well, isn't Destriant the holy guy, isn't it?
Yeah, and we already had a mortal sword of Treach.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, fucking Gruntle.
Right. Gruntle's the mortal sword. Heboric thought he was the Destriant, but he's actually the yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He didn't think it was mortal sword. I'm still, though, number 1 sad boy.
Yeah.
That's been calling to him, so...
So, like, AJ, like, all of these Jade, these comments, we didn't even mention it. The moon got fucked up. Boom.
Yeah. Everyone was just like, I'm sorry to dominate this for a second. I feel like everyone all at once was just like, I thought the moon looked at, and that's bullshit. You didn't think the moon looked different, every character in this novel. And also, are they coming from the moon?
All I'll say is, at no point would I be like, looks like something like hit the moon. Weird. Anyway, especially...
and then move on with my day. Yeah.
Like, the moon pretty much looks one way, you know? Especially...
Yeah, if I ever looked at our moon and it didn't look exactly how you all are picturing a moon looking, like... Fuck, dude. I'm stressed.
I don't know. Definitely stressed. But anyway, so then like all these bad boys start coming down, but they all coming in on the Otatateral Isle, and like the hands are coming up and like
yeah,
and like bada bing bada boom, Heboric's here, baby.
Yeah, it was cool. Like what he, I just like I don't know, that whole thing. I think my jaw was like. I haven't had one of those moments through this whole book, I don't think. Like, chapter 7 was, you know, a great chapter, and amazing stuff happened, but like this moment had my jaw was just dropped the whole time of like the Jade hands coming up and Chow, you know, drowning or whatever, and the stuff falling from the sky, and everybody just like, well, I guess this is it. Like, the whole time I was just like, like, I feel like in chapter 7 everything's so stretched out that for my jaw to be dropped that long would have been a real feat, you know. But this is like, you know, in 10 pages this whole thing happens, and every one of those pages was just like, what the fuck, what the fuck,
absolutely nuts.
And I think it started at the Fiddler and Bottle conversation where Fiddler asks Bottle, do you understand this? And then says, is this another crippled god? And then Bottle just says, God's below. Fiddler says, is it? And Bottle says, I don't know. And I was just like, fuck. And then that whole time I was like, is it another crippled god? I don't know how these hands work. And then the hands came and protected the fucking island. I just, and Heboric was like, I'm Shield Anvil, which for some reason really blew my whole head open. I think just because I love Vidkovians so much. But damn. It was a lot. It was good. I loved it.
I love this part, and I love all Jade related stuff. It's my official opinion, and I shan't speak more about it.
Yeah.
If I understood any of the Jade stuff, I'm sure I would have been like horny for this whole section. But as it was, I was pretty much like, I don't get any of it, and I kind of breezed through it.
Well, let me ask you. Go.
Just like, but Josh, what about the parts where Heboric is talking to the Jade hand voices?
I could not have given less of a shit about those sections.
Are you serious? Oh my god. I think that's why it hit me so hard, because it was like the same thing of Vidkovian like taking the Talani Mass sorrow
and I got
stuff.
that, but you know what I understand is what the Talani Mass are.
Sure. I mean, I was just imagining just
but
like
Josh, don't
ghosts.
you remember the one other dream Heboric had about the Jade things?
Yeah.
Right, and my problem is like, if Steve sat me down and was like, here's my secret. The Jade people are from Earth and it's I would be like, I believe it, because there's nothing else to go off of right now. So who fucking knows what they are? I had a hard time investing in that section personally.
Yeah. I had folded the page down when it happened, but I kept flipping back and forth between
you monster.
Grubb's little not philosophy. What's the fucking word? When you tell the future or whatever.
Prophecy.
Prophecy. Yeah, I kept flipping back and forth between that part and Grubb's prophecy on page 776 for you all reading at home. But at one part he said, and the big man with the cut hands says yes. And I don't know if that is Heboric, because I never thought of Heboric as a big man, but, you know, that's just...
I don't know.
He's big emotionally speaking.
Yeah.
yeah, sure. So it just really fucking... Goddamn.
Oh, Pete, you like breezed over it earlier with when we're seeing all the people looking at the lights, and Hellion talks with the Knock.
Oh, the Hellion scene's so good.
Until you wrote Knock in this write-up, I did not know who she was talking to. Honestly, 50-50 thought it was a god, because the description was so weird and vague, and I still don't know I don't have a good, like, visualization of Knock at all.
Well, he's the admiral of this fleet, and we met...
I know who he is, but I have no idea what he looks like. I've never really, like, paid attention when he was described, so she was talking about him and didn't know who he was, so I was like, I don't fucking know. But, okay, it makes more sense now.
I do feel like the Jade Giants have slight Draenei energy. Just that's my thought. But
just big Draenei energy.
Just second World of Warcraft reference in 2 episodes.
That's just a skush. Yeah, I came out about this, and I'm not coming. I'm not. It's just I'm on the record. We know. And
I did watch the whole cutscene from the latest retail raid, like the end of it, and all I'm saying is all my homies hate Sylvanas, and she's not off the hook.
All right, that's one for you gamers out there. So back to this. Two things I wanted to bring up. So then everyone kind of gets rescued because the boat gets so fucked up, and they get on the ship, and we have these 2 moments. India first, Cutter's talking to Mappo, and Mappo's like, yeah, totally lost Akarium, and Cutter's like, I'm sorry about that, bro. And Mappo just, gives a little. He's really upset. I think he feels seen by Cutter acknowledging his pain. And they kind of embrace.
He has a whole emotion. Like they both, yeah. I think they both have like a we failed our person kind of energy about them. And so I totally get what you mean by saying that he feels seen. I think in that moment they're both kind of like it's so like I don't know maybe I don't know. I liked that scene. I thought it was tender, to be honest.
I did too. I love these boys.
Yeah, I think it's sweet because it's like. Them both being able to share and also kind of recognize that it really wasn't either of their faults. Kind of, maybe not, but that's how I kind of felt.
And then followed up by that, we get a little monologue, we get a little point of view just from Spite for a bit, who's like, sucks about Mappo, she thinks about the Nameless Ones, and then she's like, damn, I hope Akarium goes meets my sister. So, you think Lady Envy, Akarium meet up. What do you think that's like, Ange?
I feel like Lady Envy is going to want to collect him.
And just join my band of misfit toys.
Yeah, like literally, I think she's going to be like, no, child, come with me, I got you.
To whatever
with
end
her little
she
magical
wants.
powers, which would be like pretty wild, honestly.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Josh, we then go to the Bonehunters, who are on the high seas, and kind of the rest of the chapter takes place with them. First, Kenneb is acknowledging they're all going to die and really feeling bad. And he then also is talking about the neighboring countries because they're passing some lands.
Yeah.
So we hear a little bit about the Nethel and the Parish, and then, of course, later the Parish arrive. I just wanted to check in about Kenneb, who's a character we've talked a little bit about this book, but is someone we've met in Deadhouse Gates, have followed him from being this Captain Kalam kind of encounters to him being in the army in book 4, and now he's kind of this more important figure. So how do you feel about Kenneb and how do you feel this journey's been?
Well, number one, he's a sub. And that pretty much encapsulates everything he says and does. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't really know if a fist should be that. So,
I mean, who better to take the fist than a sub? There you go.
Don't. Yeah, I was there. So, I don't know. I mean, I think he's best in Deadhouse Gates because the stakes are so much lower for what he's doing. Like, they're so much more grounded. And since then, he's risen to incompetence at a major way. I mean, I know he, listens to Grub, and that's good. But I don't know if listening to a 4-year-old savant is really, grounds for promotion most of the time.
Yeah.
Although in this army, kind of is.
I do agree in that I like Kenneb, but I wouldn't be like, he's the best commander we've got. Give him all of our resources.
Yeah. I trust him sometimes, and that's as much as I can give him.
Yeah.
I really think I'm noticing this trend in these books, and it's not a bad thing, but we really don't mention that other places exist until 4 chapters before we need to go there.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Nethel wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. We forgot Nethel. Real quick, let's throw in a Trell epigraph. And they fight the Nethel. Whew, we did. We've got to go to the parish? All right, let's... just spell it like the word parish and capital it and throw it some places, and then we'll be good. Like, it really feels like these places have no history until all of us, like, and then they're just brought up. Like, if they're this close to 7 cities, how have we never heard about them in passing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but on the other hand, I don't talk about Kuala Lumpur every day, but it still exists.
Yeah, I'm not walking around talking about the towns around
here. I don't really know what the word would be for citizens of that nation. I was going to make a joke, but then I don't know how to say that. Kuala Lumpurese?
I'm just saying, because people don't talk about it in everyday life doesn't mean places don't exist. But just to set aside that joke, I actually feel like there's actually 2 categories. First, it's we don't talk about it until we are imminently going there. Or number 2, we talk about it, but we're never going there.
Oh, yeah, that's happened. Well, that's because that happens with that fucking storm wall, which I want to say is a spin-off.
Yeah, it's in one of the Esselmont books.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, we were hearing all about that, and I had a pretty good feeling we weren't going there. Yeah. So, yeah, that fits in that category for sure.
AJ, did you take anything away from this Kalam Quickbend conversation? Something's amongst the boats.
No. Just that Quickbend knows something's up. That's kind of all. Or we talk about before the Grey Helms thing.
Before the Grey Helms.
Oh.
Is he talking about the aerosol, or is he talking about mail? Like, what's he talking about there? Because we know the aerosol has been pushing them and kind of is there and existing, but all right, PP can't answer.
Yeah, I'm not answering.
Oh, you know what? No, actually, never mind. I was going to say maybe it's the guy from the House of Chains. Maybe it's Gethel.
Interesting.
Maybe that's who he senses.
Because as you bring it up, Inge, of course, Tenai Beralta's in bed, feeling like shit. He's all sick and shit. And then who's that? We see him. We haven't seen this guy in like a super long time. I want to say Memories of Ice we saw him. I don't know. Anyway, the Jagged Gethel shows up. He's like, I'm the Herald of House of Chains. You got to join our squad. We like the Red Blades are needed. And Tenai Beralta is feeling scorned, so he kind of thinks about it, and then we check in a little bit on Lestara. So, what'd you make of this, and what do you make of him joining it? What do you think he'll do? What do you think the Red Blades will end up doing?
Is Gethel a Jagat?
Yeah, he's a Jagat.
Thank you.
Okay.
I don't remember him at all.
I remember him. He was the one. He was dumb, and didn't he try to get Karsa too? And Karsa was like GTFO.
Yeah, I actually forget when he was introduced, to be honest. But he did try and recruit Karsa to the squad.
Yeah, I remember that. I couldn't remember what he did prior to that. It was my issue.
Yeah, I actually forget how he was introduced. I know more about him, but I don't know why we met him.
I remember.
Was there something in Memories of Ice?
I think we meet him in Memories of Ice. Is my memory.
I think we get him meeting the crippled god in Memories of Ice.
That's what it is. I think it's from the crippled god's point of view, maybe.
Yeah, it's like one of those scenes.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ange, so what do you think this recruitment means for the Red Blades and Tenai Beralta?
Yeah, so I just feel like, I don't know, I think it's kind of stupid when anybody chooses this side. It feels like it's kind of like a last resort, like they're really feeling down in the dumps for them to make that decision. So I think it's going to be, the crippled god is kind of like developing like a pretty solid group of people that are fucked and like crazy and just bent on like revenge. And I just feel like it's going to make for a very interesting showdown at some point. I really hope there is one, because I feel like that would be pretty lit for like half the book to just die. But yeah, so that's how I felt about that. Lestara, I don't know, what is she even doing anymore? Like, Lestara's they've really taken her off the rails for me, like understanding wise what her point is and what she's doing. She just kind of is showing up places now, and I'm just like, I'm not following her at all.
Well, I hear you. Do you feel like you don't feel like she has like a purpose, or?
Not that. I feel like she definitely does have a purpose. I just don't know what her agenda is. And because she doesn't even have her own agenda, but she like kind of does. So is she going to try to kill Tenai Beralta?
That's what I was thinking. I was wondering if Cotillion was like putting her there to take care of Tenai Beralta. I was wondering that same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like not entirely sure what's happening, but that's my take.
All right, well, I guess we'll find out. So then the last part of this section, AJ, the Grey Helms of Perish arrive. We mention them about the mortal swords and such. Josh mentioned Perish. They roll
we meet
up,
the whole
adorned
thing.
in the wolf imagery. Shout out to Tog and Fandere. What up? Woof, woof, woo, woo.
Woof, woof, I guess.
So this new army shows up and pledges allegiance because the end of the world, you know?
I guess so.
Are these the Talani Mass? Okay. Well, they went to like a Tog world. I don't know, guys.
The Beast Hold?
Yeah, they went to the Beast World. Are these them?
That's different. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are just people.
These are just people who love Tog and Fandere.
I mean, don't we all?
Dogs,
woof, woof.
Yeah.
Woof, woof.
So, Aj, what'd you make of them joining? Are you stoked about our new wolf brethren?
I'm stoked that Tog and Fandere are back.
Woof, woof.
In the woof, woof. But I mean, not much else about this was like exciting, really. I think the most interesting thing about the Grey Helms is that Quickbend thinks something's up or knows something's up. I don't know. Whatever Quickbend knows, I think, is the most interesting thing about the Grey Helms right now. And otherwise, like I don't know, we haven't seen like a full like
sure
the big three of a following since Memories of Ice, so that's fun.
Well, let's talk about this Quickbend thing. Do you have any pin on that? Because the chapter ends with him being like, and then running out to tell Tavor, and then being like, you know?
Right, yeah. That's pretty much it. I didn't get anything out of it besides something's going on. I wonder what it is. I did think Kalam had a pretty good zinger, though. High Mage Ben Adefan Dalat, the Lord of High Diction, because Quickbend just said shit.
Yeah,
very funny.
Very good.
Just good stuff. But
all right.
I recognize those titles. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, listen, let's leave this discussion on chapter 20 and these chapters here. But going into the final episode, quickly, send us an email, 10 Very Big Books, tweet at us, 10 Very Big Books, tell a friend about the show. Cool. So, let's get into the real meat. Going into it next week, we're going to be finished Bonehunters. Ba-da-dum. So,
Woof, woof.
Let's pick a hot prediction about how this whole book is going to end. I'm going to start with Joshua Dean Baker.
I'm turning to the last page so I can get a good idea.
That's what I was just doing. God damn it.
I stole your bit. What do I think is going to happen in the rest of this book?
How's it all going to wrap up?
It's going to wrap up with Akarium and Karsa getting to the Tisty Eater homeland, which I guess at this point is actually kind of Lethris. So they're going to get there. There's going to be one final attack on the first throne. We're going to see Andrak, Talant, whatever the fuck his name is. We're going to see them fighting. I think it's going to end with the 14th getting back to the city. I don't know, something like that. I think the book's going to end with the people in place for the next book to really jet forward.
All right, AJ, what do you think?
I mean, we have, 4 chapters left? Like
4 chapters and an epilogue, I believe.
Yeah, but it's a chunky 4 chapters.
It is. And that's why I have no idea what's gonna happen, because I feel like we have, unless this thing with the Grey Helms is gonna be expounded upon immediately. I feel like we've done a lot of like the big stuff happening with all these people except the stuff at the first throne. But I can't see that stuff happening over 4 chapters. So I have no idea, but I think the final chapter is going to be a final, attack on the first throne.
I like that idea.
And Onrak's going to get angry, and I think that's going to be the end of the book. But I have no idea what's going to happen leading up. I think we have seen the last of Akarium and Terralak Veed for this book. I don't know if they're going to pop back up. If anything, they're just going to get to Lethris, and that's it. Like, I don't think. I just don't know, man. That's That's really all I got. First Throne stuff's going to happen. It's going to be nuts. And that's going to be the final chapter.
All right. Well,
yeah.
And last and certainly not least, India, what do you think's happening at the end of this book?
Okay. I have a hot take.
Hot take.
And my take is this. I take that we're not even going to land anywhere. I believe that these 4 chapters are going to take place entirely on the water and in boats. And I don't know. That's it. That's all I got. I don't know if there's I feel like I have a feeling that we're not going to reach any conflict at the end of this book. What I think is that we're going to just have a lot of different conversations on our different boats and then perhaps start the next book after we're off the boat.
Yeah, it's curious because like we were just like foot to the floor, like doing some stuff, you know? So it's like, now what? I think I could see what you're saying, India. I think I could see that happening.
Are we gonna?
But you're so right.
Are we gonna get? Is Heboric gonna come back? You think in this book?
I don't know.
See, I don't know if he's back. Is the thing.
The problem is it's 4 beefy chapters,
right?
And anything can happen.
I think that, and I think the biggest confusion or the biggest pain point for me is that they are so big, which means stuff has to happen in them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I can't. I just don't know.
Pete, what do you predict's going to happen by the end of the book?
I guess we'll find out next time. I'm looking forward to reading the chapters and having that discussion. And putting a pin in book 6. So look forward to having that discussion then. And Josh, just so you know, Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia. It is not a country.
I didn't think it was a country. Okay. All right. I feel better.
Yeah. Anyway, goodbye, everybody. That's a little geography fact. See you.
Bye. Hello, everybody. Producer AJ here, recording the perfect outro for Ryan and Black Diamond. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you'd like to give us your thoughts or feelings about this or any of our other episodes, you can always email us 10verybigbooks@gmail.com, tweet us at 10verybigbooks, or you can head on over to our Discord, bit.ly/VBB Discord. That's capital V, capital B, capital B, capital D, Discord. That link will also be in the show notes. Thank you, as always, to all of our wonderful patrons over on patreon.com. If you would like to add your name to our patron list, you can head on over to patreon.com/10verybigbooks. That link will also be in the show notes. And as always, thank you so very much to Dan Geserick for making our spectacular cover art. You can follow him on Twitter at @A_W_Dan G for the coldest Loki takes. And of course, the wonderful music in today's episode is by the one and only Amaranthin from their album Simulant Rain, which you can find along with their other music on bandcamp.com. Links to their pages will be in the show notes, and 10 Very Big Books will be back in 2 weeks on July 30th. Where we will be discussing chapters 21, 22, 23, 24, and the epilogue of the Bonehunters. I cannot believe that we are already at the end of this book. I'll talk to you then, and thank you so much for listening. Yeah, I mean, just like not on the show. I just like how the epigraph for the chapter is like, what is there left to understand? Choice is an illusion. Freedom is a conceit. And then it ends with like, hi, do you want some boner pills? Like,
yeah,
it's
so
really,
good.
really good. Moving on.